Good afternoon, how are you? My name is Nicolas Frankovic and I'm a consultant at Autologica. First of all, I want to thank you for attending this talk. It's very gratifying to see familiar faces with whom we have worked over the years, and that fills us with pride because there's nothing that makes us happier than sharing this kind of space with each dealership. The dealership has a key mission to provide the highest quality tools to each customer, contractor, and producer so they can work without delays and super efficiently, and in that relationship, both companies grow. Just as the automotive industry is in a constant process of evolution and technification, so too are machinery and vehicles, and this demands that the dealership also evolves. Between that framework, we define the concept of the dealership of the future as a company that will use data to make daily decisions, that will have a strong focus on after sales and the customer experience at every touch point, that seeks to automate processes, to invest every second in generating opportunities, optimize tasks to generate more time, that will encounter new ways of selling vehicles, and at the same time, with vehicles with technologies that will change the form of after sales and maintenance, we are talking about companies that, without losing the essence of being close to the customer, will be incorporating new ways of working. Autologica has two main goals: to cement the same relationship that exists between a producer and a driver and their dealership, not as a client and supplier, but as collaboration, 7 days a week to achieve the best results. And on the other hand, to provide innovative tools and solutions that help overcome the challenges of the industry and achieve the goals set. One of the ways to achieve these better results is by measuring. What is not defined cannot be measured. What is not measured cannot be improved. What is not improved degrades over time. This quote from Lord Kelvin, a British physicist and mathematician from the 19th century, never ages. In fact, it is one of our pillars in every project we undertake. Before making a decision, we have to measure, or at least think of a way to evaluate the results. We are going to focus much of the talk on addressing different indicators of a leadership that are essential for continued growth and therefore to continue on the path of um, being the provider of transport and work solutions that accompany the growth of agriculture. We are going to work to discover the truth behind the numbers. For those who are not familiar with Autologica, I want to briefly tell you that we have just celebrated 30 years in the market, and we are a global company with offices in Spain, Uruguay, and Argentina dedicated to the development of a DMS, a management system 100% designed for dealerships. Autologica Sky DMS is a cloud-based software, composed on modules for each department that facilitates every circuit of every role, optimizes and automates tasks, solves key issues such as dual currency accounting and electronic invoicing, traces movements to help prevent fraud, allows measuring what is done with each hour purchased in the workshop, among other essential tasks for daily management. And yet, it is a very different solution from a generic ERP. The big difference, and what has earned us the trust for years from many of the dealerships, is that it is a system that has a team of specialists in the dealership business, thinking all the time about adding improvements specifically for the agricultural machinery and construction industry, trucks, and automobiles. Both the owner and the CEO, the general manager, and the managers of each area need to view the business objectively and dispassionately, distinguish problems from patterns, and work to disrupt those patterns that hinder growth. It is as important to work on the daily tasks as it is to analyze daily how to do things better, how to improve processes, be both a tactical and strategic leader. Introducing Autologic Analytics, a tool that takes the thousands of data generated in the leadership and transforms them into summarized information cards. Here we see the management panel with indicators. All right, here we can see some billing indicators such as sales of the month and units sold of the month. Let's continue with some economic indicators such as the earnings before tax result. Okay, here we can see some financial indicators such as solvency and liquidity. The goal of these types of tools is to eliminate Excel spreadsheets and to have on a single screen and with a glance an overview of the business situation. Data-driven management and tools that promote decision-making opportunities are one of the pillars of the future dealership concept that I mentioned at the beginning. Data-driven management helps us build a business based on the lifetime value of each customer. The concept I want to bring to the table is how beneficial and important it is to have that summarized information on your cell phone, in your pocket, and to be able to spend every day checking the status of all areas, avoiding surprises at the end of the month. Step 1 then is to have a way to transform millions of data into conclusions. The second step is to have a defined set of indicators. There are thousands of indicators, in fact, to be able to set up the dashboards we rely on, suggestions from managers on Chef Smith's books, who is an expert in business management and is 100% focused on KPIs for dealerships and on our experience as strategic partners of the dealerships. In detail, we have sales of the month uh, in national or foreign currency compared to the previously defined objective with the previous month and with the same month of the previous year to analyze seasonality. Sales in quantities, uh, result before taxes, return on sales, expenses on sales, solvency, which is assets divided liabilities, having enough assets to meet payments with guarantee. Liquidity, which is cash plus banks divided current liabilities, that is having enough cash to meet short-term payments securely. Break-even point, the fixed costs divided the selling price minus the cost of sales. Total absorption factor, the spare parts and services. A mobilized stock of the month includes both new and used units and obsolete spare parts based on parameters defined within the system in advance. In addition to the daily dashboard of indicators, Autologica Analytics allows access to a second level with more detailed information of said KPI. Look in this case, for example, we can delve into a positive result to detect that even in an improvement in sales, there are business units that need to be reviewed. New and used vehicle sales and services improved, but spare parts sales decreased. At the departmental level, each manager must also have their set of indicators to detect the contribution they make to the overall results. Today, we are going to focus on some after-sales KPIs as it is one of the areas to develop for the dealership of the future. Performance, productivity, and efficiency, three essential indicators for the after-sales department. It is always a thought that the purchase hours are as profitable as possible, and many times that is a data that is not known with certainty, and therefore what needs to be improved cannot be detected. So let's analyze the performance. It is productivity multiplied by efficiency. Uh, An ADA standard indicates that this KPI should be 125%. The service advisor is a very influential factor for this indicator. In a 2023 survey of US dealerships, it was revealed that workshops with an additional service advisor generated an extra income of 35,000 per bay annually. If I have 10 workers who work 200 hours each per month, I have 2,000 hours to sell with the price per hour charged to the client of $150. I have a sellable amount of 150 multiplied by 2,000, so it would be 300,000 monthly. That total to sell throughout the month should be the beacon with which we compare the progress of sales daily and detect deviations in time. It is important to compare with the amount actually sold, whether by customer charge or internal and warranty. All right, let's see other tips to improve productivity, such as train sales skills in each advisor to achieve the goal of getting more than one job on each work order, record pending jobs to upsell when the vehicle is received, offer rotation, balancing, and tire changes. For instance, do you know why dealerships don't sell tires? Because they don't offer them. So 70% of people buy tires from the first person who offers them. Commit the customer to the next appointment. When finishing the current job, commit the customer to the next service. Also, train the cashiers to ask if the advisor has already confirmed the next appointment, and if that person hasn't, take it there. Invest in tools and infrastructure within the workshop. Having more capacity to receive vehicles is not relevant if there are no resources to perform the work. The leader, before increasing capacity, must ensure that current jobs are carried out without delays due to shortages of parts, infrastructure, and tools. Training advisors and technicians is a task that must be carried out periodically. Trained employees have better performance in jobs they already do and can also tackle new jobs. Improve processes. The process from when the vehicle arrives at the workshop until it is delivered to the customer can be improved and made more efficient. Advisors can be prepared to receive the vehicle, go through the checklist, and request the parts to be used. The technician must receive the vehicles along with the parts so that the start of the work is immediate. Many times, time is wasted waiting for parts in stock, waiting for authorizations, for example, or keys to the vehicle cannot be found, the tools are not correct, etc. Identify which days and times are the busiest for customers to ensure that there are always advisors available to meet demand. And last but not least, avoid generating confusing repair orders that require the technician to inquire about jobs need to be done. All right, let's analyze the labor efficiency, the effective labor rate. This indicator is calculated by dividing the total amount of labor sold monthly by the total hours billed monthly. The NADA guide value is 90% of the customer charge hour value. For instance, let's see the 2026 100,000 divided 2,215 hours, which is 102. Customer charge hour value is 150, so it is 90%, which is 135. This will be a value to see daily. If it is noted why this value is less than expected, there are usually many excuses, but the main reason is the lack of internal billing. Everything that goes through the workshop must be billed, whether for the customer, for the OEM in the case of warranties, or internal. And the internal hour value should be as close as possible to the customer charge hour value. The service department is working for sales or for reconditioning, and that value is recovered in the sale price of the unit. So there is no reason to reduce its hourly value. Obsolete parts and emergency purchases. Many dealerships are surprised when they take the first measurement of their obsolete inventory, as it can represent from 50 to 70% and sometimes more of their total inventory, the result of many years of buying more intuitively than statistically. Another management challenge arises if the dealership finds itself making many emergency orders. This not only imply financial losses for the dealership but also a blow to customer satisfaction. When a unit is in the workshop and parts are missing, several problems arise, but one is the most serious. The producer cannot use their machinery during peak harvest. If this is detected in time, decisions can be made to reduce its impact. Suggestions of orders, whether by informing the OEM of the stock so that they suggest the quantities to buy, as is the case with John Deere, or by using the information calculated by Autologica, the dealership must analyze which purchases to make to always have a minimum and ideal stock that can satisfy customers' orders while maintaining a balanced investment in inventory. Monthly and annual sales history. Data visualizations tools not only show the current status, but also compile the entire history to detect trends. This allows knowing customer consumption habits and making purchases based on that data. ABC reports. ABC reports allow detection of frequency, demand, stock, obsolescence, etc. They classify parts into different categories. So in this way, the dealer can make purchasing decisions based on strategic data. The NADA guideline is 90 to 95%. Potential invoicing of the department. The after sales manager of the dealership can know the total potential invoicing of the area by analyzing both lost sales and completed sales. This data is useful in addition to know the department's compliance rate, and important piece of information given that for some OEMs. This indicator is also often called spare parts availability percentage. It can be calculated by quantity, amount, or line, with the latter option being the strictest. For instance, the customer orders 10 units and we can only deliver 5. The availability percentage by quantity gives us 50%, and the availability percentage by line is 0% because we are unable to fully satisfy the customer for that part. These suggested practices are just some of those that allow the after sales manager to measure the effectiveness of spare parts and service sales. Frequently monitoring both indicators, along with recording everything in the leadership system, should be a habit and will allow detecting why opportunities are lost and what can be done from the leadership to recover them and turn them into sales. See all the possibilities that unfold with some indicators, but above all, how easy it is to realize when there is a point that requires intervention. In some situations, of course, it might be a seasonal or extraordinary issue, but it never hurts to take a few seconds to understand why and act. During January of this year, we visited the most important automotive industry expo in the United States, NADA. This event brings together the main vehicle brands, software providers, and infrastructure for dealerships. In addition to the expo, there are talks and presentations by industry leaders. I'll share some of the recommendations for after sales. Audit the unit reception process. Inspection of multiple points. Important to clarify the vehicle's condition to the customer, upsell, and take photos of the unit. Verbally communicate the inspection results to the customer. Consider automating this reception. Autologica DMS offers Dealer Tablet, which is a tool for unit reception that automates sending the checklist to the customer. Um, Over communicate about tires, offer change, alignment, balancing, bring this business to the dealership. Commit the customer to the next appointment. As mentioned before, it is a matter of training and creating a new habit in advisors and cashiers. The KPI that can be generated from this point is number of repair orders closed per day with next appointment reserved. Uh, Also, sell the expertise. One of the most important reasons why customers go to a dealership for service is the specific product knowledge and trained personnel that the dealership has. This expertise must be reinforced to retain customers. To conclude the presentation before moving on to questions, we want to address the challenges and trends that we will encounter in the coming months and years and that are on our agenda to address at Autologica. The electric vehicle revolution that is already taking place in agriculture. Last September 2023, New Holland introduced the T4 electric power. John Deere also launched its garden model but announced the development of electric machinery. Case also announced the electric Formel uh, 75C, won awards at the Farm Machine 2024, and more changes that will mean a new way of selling and servicing each unit. This change involves investing in special tools, training technicians to work with high voltages, charging stations, etc. It also means reinventing the service offered by the dealership to avoid impacting the results of the after sales department. Purchase experiences that continue to move towards the web. One of the courses we took at NADA began with the following phrase. Dealerships, you are now an online business with a physical presence. The maturity of contactless experiences continues to advance, shifting physical interactions to digital proposals. This changes the way of selling, but also poses more challenges for loyalty, retention, and the experience of each customer. So, how is our website? Do we analyze site statistics? What is our response time? Some questions we must consider. Fluctuations in purchases and changing habits require optimized stock. In market fluctuations, it becomes essential to have the know-how and tools to have stock that meets customers' needs without supposing an exorbitant cost and immobilization in the dealership. Artificial intelligence in every department. Undoubtedly, a revolution of which we are contemporaries and which is being used and tested in purchasing, selling, production, etc. The automotive and agro-technological industries will not be exceptions. And just as there are already chatbots and tools that calculate ideal lead calling times, we will have to remain attentive to every change they entail. And last but not least, dealer to customer or OEM to customer sales models. It is not new that around the world, many brands are talking about the intention to centralize the sale of units directly to customers. These models are being discussed and tested, but it implies that the role of after sales, delivery, and customer experience can change significantly. The dealership is always relevant in terms of the experience it can be provided to the user. At NADA every year, there are a keynote speaker who gives the opening speech, and this year it was John Taffer, an American presenter of a reality show called Bar Rescue, where he reforms the premises and business practices of all kinds of bars in the USA. So to sum up and to close, I leave you with a phrase he shared for all dealerships. What business are we in? In the reaction business, if people do not react to what we sell and offer, everything is in vain. All right, if there are any unanswered questions, we will put in contact with you. And without further ado, I want to thank you for attending and participating in this webinar. I hope you have a very good Wednesday, and I am really looking forward to seeing you in future sessions. Thank you again. Until next time.